Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for Game 3 of Week 2 of the ESL Premiership 2018 Spring Season. I am Oisin Bloodpegging Malloy, and joining me again for the third time tonight is going to be Rob Ghost of Dreams Prices. We bring you match number 3 between Diabolus esports and Enclave Gaming. It's going to be a pretty hype one.
Yeah, this is my game of the night. These teams were so closely matched last time, and I really want to see them fight off against each other again. There's very little between these guys, and we could see it last time around where it was literally tooth and nail right up until the end, so I'm looking forward to this immensely.
One of the big issues that Enclave have come up against Diabolus is the kind of failure to end games despite being ahead. What have they got to do? Like, they're getting their bot lane very far ahead. Frappy and Shogun are doing fantastic work. They just can't seem to push it past that last little, milestone. What have they got to do to change that and to come back with the W today?
Well, I think the teams that Diabolus have been playing against have been on a slightly lower level to Enclave, and we saw that Igloo went for that Malphite pick into Camille, which has proved so popular for him and so well throughout the qualifiers and even through some of the games outside of that as well, but he hasn't been able to find that success into Kerberos, and that meant that they didn't really have that pressure that they did in the last time to find the team fights that really pushed them over the edge and have that dive potential that the Malphite offered. Instead, he was stuck against the Camille, and that was really where they struggled until pretty much right up to the end, where it would end up being Enclave trying to help out the top laner too much, and they end up giving across a whole bunch of kills, and Diabolus capitalize that to the extreme. But we'll have to see if they end up falling for that again. Right now, they are going to be offering up that Zoe for the mid laner Larson, who has proven that he is exceptional on this champion.
Yeah, you cannot let him have that. If you do let him have that, you got to make sure that you are confident in your counter pick. They took away the Ryze, they took away the Azir, they took the Zac, despite there being a Jarvan and Sejuani both up and available. We do normally see people defaulting to the Zac usually, but Monkeys, he had a pretty good Zac game. Probably saw Taxer's Zac game last week and was just like, oh, hell yeah, I could do that. And he's going to pick that one up as well, as we see possibly the Braum locked in for Diabolus here.
But Taxer picked up the Zac, and guess what else is open right now? That Galio pick for Paris is there and available if they want to go with that. You've got a strong bully bot lane as well, so this could actually be something that we start to see working in their favor. You've got that dive potential too, but they're a little bit worried about the support pinch right now, and they're going to be looking either at the Tam or the Braum most likely. And I was actually going to say I'd rather the Braum in this scenario, but they're hovering back and forth a lot.
Yeah, they aren't going to pick up the Galio like you said, so Tam going to be locked up as well. They're going to try to keep that Caitlyn as safe as possible. But like you said, the Galio, now the side of Diabolus have another opportunity to ban that away, but looks like the Tam is going to be taken, the Braum is going to be banned.
Yeah, Galio does struggle in the Zoe matchup, so I can understand their hesitance in bringing that to the board, but they are going to be looking to ban away the supports. Braum is going to be gone. Wouldn't be surprised to see the Alistar or the Taric banned away as well here. Yeah, the Urgot ban actually going up towards Kerberos, so they're trying to put the pinch on the top lane and make sure that Igloo is able to become that bully. We won't see him this time on anything unusual like the Malphite that we've been seeing. He'll be sticking to the more standard picks of the Gnar. Probably will see something like the Camille banned away here as well.
Yeah, Varus taken away as well for the final ban for Enclave, and it's almost like a weird kind of setup of deja vu as you just play the same team over and over and over. And a Kassadin going to be taken away as well for the final ban for Diabolus. Now Enclave, what do they prioritize? They look to make sure they can get that counter pick, but they don't really have anything to really kind of hide at this stage. They can pick both or either of their solo laners, and neither can really be counterpicked as Diabolus picked that in the first phase.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be going to the Vladimir. Instead of going for the aggressive style of, say, like the Malzahar, who has fallen off with those nerfs, you're going for the much more defensive style, where you're hoping that you can just pull through when the Sleepy Trouble bubble lands. But it does mean that their team fight is going to be quite obnoxious as well, because you're going to have a lot of that AoE coming down on the members that Monkiss is going to gobble up and kidnap back. And please, Smiley, do it. I want to see this Jinx. I want to so much. I said it already. No, don't do that. Go. Go. Yes!
Yes, there it is. Jinx locked and loaded. That's going to be a fun matchup there. Doesn't have quite have the protection that you would want from, say, a Tam Kench or something like that. They do lose the Braum as well, but they're going to have the Janna for disengage, so definitely not a bad thing to have.
Yeah, the Jinx is going to be fine into the Tam Kench alongside that Janna. They don't really have an engage, so really you're going to be looking at Monkus to try and influence this lane. But Janna is exceptional at keeping the Zac away from those engages that he wants. Because you're pretty much guaranteed to know where the Zac is going to be coming through, because of the circle on the ground, Janna just throws a tornado at him, he gets knocked up, and there's very little that he can do in that scenario. So they're going to be relatively safe in the bot lane and allow this Jinx to farm up to the later stages of the game where she becomes so strong. And in particular, what I like about Jinx alongside the Zoe is that you can start to fire out all these rockets from the bottom lane, and once one or two of them hit, all you have to, it's almost like do you remember the way Faker used to play the Ezreal in the mid lane? He would just fire off consistently the arcane barrages down towards the bottom or the top lane just to start to do a little bit of damage here and there to people. And when you've got the likes of that rocket being fired towards the mid lane on towards this Vladimir, you're either going to hit or else there's a chance that he'll cool, and that's when Larson can take advantage of it. So it's a kind, I haven't seen many people start to pick it up, but it's something that's been in the works for just a little while.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but I wanted to talk big time about Kayle for Kerberos as a last pick. This has got to be a pocket.
Yeah, this is also working against the Zoe because that's how Zoe likes to play. Sleepy Trouble Bobo will try and keep someone safe, and the Kayle will be able to keep someone safe alongside the Tam. So now you've got two ways of denying the Zoe, and you've got a very strong spit pusher as well. We'll most likely see that Kayle go towards the Kleptomancy and start to scale up incredibly well. And this is something that Nara will struggle against because the wave clear that comes out of Kayle when she hits that Runaan's Hurricane is insane. He's going to really he's going to be in a lot of trouble trying to keep that Kayle off from his tower. Yes, he'll have a little bit of range to answer for, but it's not really going to be enough with the pushing power that comes through.
I am so excited to see what they were able to do with this Kayle. Kayle, one of those champions that can either really hard carry or really fall flat, and I want to know how this goes in for Enclave, and I'm excited to see it mainly because this is something different. This is something that maybe gives them that, you know, that win condition that we've been talking about, that one way of them kind of coming into this game and being able to get a lead, but not only get a lead, but then keep it and then end the game. That's been the biggest kind of issue for Enclave in this entire season so far. Now, it's still very early, but still, those little things where you're like, you have such a big win condition, you have a huge lead in your bot lane, and then you just throw it away and give away a, you know, a perfectly good win. You gotta change it, and I'm glad to see this coming out.
Yeah, and I'm kind of on the fence about not the Vladimir pick because of what it is. It's more that the way that Enclave have found their advantages is through utilizing these roaming mid laners like the Talia that we saw them on the last game. But it's also been a double-edged sword because it also cost them in the last game where they tried to roam up to save Kerberos and they weren't able to do it. They gave across multiple kills because they were just piling in one by one instead of coming up as this cohesive unit. And I'm kind of glad to see them where they don't have that option, because I think if they don't have, they have that inability to just let go and take the loss where it happens. Instead, they try to patch the holes too far. So I'm glad that they don't have that option available to them, but it also means that they don't have that as a pressure point for the game. So I'm excited to see what Enclave can do when they don't have that in their pockets, because they are they are so good at that early aggression.
We'll have to see now. We're going to see a Cole picked up there for Kerberos, so he's definitely going for a little bit of a spike. Probably going to go towards that Guinsoo's and Runaan's Hurricane build to get that extra % health damage going down. But I'm excited. I want to know how these two teams deal with this. I want to see how the side of Diabolus especially work around it, because this is something you don't necessarily see every single game.
But also something you don't see every game is two minion dematerializers on the side of Enclave, both in the mid lane and the AD carry. So this signals to me that the Vladimir and the Caitlyn are just looking to push super aggressively in these early stages. Caitlyn will be looking to try and get that terror down early and start to rotate around the map and see if they can pick up their advantages. And the Vladimir as well will be looking to make sure that Larson is struggling in this mid lane to keep the minion waves off his turret, farm up correctly, but also stop him from getting in and being a nuisance around the map.
We already see Larson and Paris become fairly familiar with themselves at this point in the game. They've probably, I think the two teams that have played each other the most in the entire tournament so far, including qualifiers, have been these two. And like you said, both times, or both 3 times I should say, have all been exceptionally close games.
Yeah, but that's why I'm kind of surprised to see them give Larson the Zoe as well. They know what a menace he can be on this champion, and when they're able to ban away so many of the champions that would have been an issue for him as well, it surprises me they've left this open. Now, that means that they must have a game plan in place. They know that Paris is happy on the Vladimir pick, so I'm excited to see what both these guys can do. Is Larson still able to find a foothold in this lane, even through Paris's pick, or is Paris now going to be able to shut down Larson when he's been such a monumental increase to the pressure that Diabolus has been able to put around the map?
Have to wait and see. Furion just trying to establish some control. Another Cloud Drake, so that's not going to be much of a contest for now. Igloo, we talked about it a couple in the last week and a couple of games in the qualifiers as well. Igloo is one of those players that he needs to be shut down, but players just need to kind of leave him because there's so many other threats on the side of Diabolus. You've got Larson, you've got Smiley, you've got Hado, who's able to set up so much for this Diabolus team. There's just so much that he can do that people kind of forget that Igloo is kind of a big thing, that he can do, so much on his own.
And exactly, I mean, if you look at the pressure he was able to put down on Malphite, which isn't even considered a good champion in the lane phase, to be able to get solo kills onto the likes of the Camille is just incredible. It just shows how strong Igloo is. So when he's put on something like the Nara, I'm looking to see him impress. He's already starting to pick up not too much of a CS advantage, but is definitely getting the poke down onto Kerberos.
Trying to do his best. Kerberos just having a little bit of mana issues. Kind of happens when you go cold, and that's going to be a redemption coming down, because that's not annoying. As we see Paris trying to bait in this Zoe, maybe go for something here. Ooh, not able to hit the Q there for Monkeys, and Larson just skips and hops away with nothing else happening. Well, to say that though, Furion comes in, gonna land the Drowsy, gonna be double CC now on top of him. As I say that, Furion though might be in a little bit of trouble, forcing the Ignite. Will he be able to get the kill? Yes, he will. First blood going over to Paris. They force out Summoners, heal down. But at the end of the day, Paris gets himself the perfect start. And as I say that, Igloo now roaming down. He's going to be spotted out by Monkeys. And he is going to be back away. We have a little bit of an issue of my game just pausing there very shortly, but nothing too crazy happening on the end of that. But yeah, I'm not going to find anything there, unfortunately, but nothing too much to be worried about as we come up to 4 minutes and 25 seconds into this game. Enclave now pushing up to the bot side and got a very nice kill there for the Vladimir, and that's going to be pretty good for Paris.
Yeah, they're going to be very happy to get that kill over onto the Vladimir. I mean, especially when you're looking at the pressure that Larson can put down, there's not very much that he can do if this Vladimir starts to get ahead. You're already seeing the poke that he's able to put down, and especially when he's got Monkeys helping him out, launching in with those slingshots and securing the kill as well after all is said and done. They're going to be very happy with the way this works out.
Yeah, we have to see now, literally on the 5-minute mark right now. It's the 500 gold lead in favor of Enclave, and they've got the pressure in most of the lanes. TP forced out of Larson, who had to swap out his flash just to get that. He has got Unsealed Spellbook, which is pretty standard. And nothing too crazy about this game at all, but I like that aggressive move coming in from Monkeys, and able to make it work out as well, considering how aggressive Furion went, just makes it so much better for Enclave.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to be very happy with that one. You can see as well. They're just going to start playing passive around the map. Not going to be able to find too much just at the moment. There's a little bit of vision control coming down for the side of Enclave as well, but they're really going to want to bolster that up before they try and make anything happen.
As we say that, make anything happening. Igloo is yet to go back, still sitting on his Doran's shield and his pot, but a Berserker Greaves for Kerberos and a TP use means that he is now in a position to bully this lane a little bit more. 6 has been hit for the Gnar, so Mega Gnar into the wall would definitely be an option, but equally kind of negated as such by the Kayle ult.
Yeah, and that's the big issue when you're looking at how you're going to play around this lane on the top side, is that you need jungler intervention to really try and do anything. The way Gnar in that mega form gets off so much of his damage is just through pushing with that ultimate and ensuring that you can get that combo off and get that damage down. But if Kerberos can get that ulti off before you hit that, it becomes a much more difficult fight for him.
I'm not quite sure I agree with this. It looks like, actually, as I say, I was going to make a point about the Cull being picked up by the Gnar, but Monkey's now going to come in, going to be spotted off straight away, and they're going to jump straight onto Larson, who does go golden, as well as Paris, almost identical at that point. Get the stun off. Furion taking a huge chunk of damage. Haddo had rotated, but at the end, neither team loses their summoners. To say that, no! Smiley Frappy takes that kill. Nicely done, and having Haddo roam up to that mid lane opened up that opportunity, and we might see it again as everyone starts to come in. Another heal had to be burnt there by Larson. They're trying to bring back in Furion, but not able to do much. And Enclave, they came to play.
Yeah, and this was what we were talking about, the pressure that they can put down in the early game. They are so good at utilizing the advantages that they have, and we've seen it to perfection right now. Frappy and Shogun showing as well that they are not to be trifled with, picking up that kill and dropping that turret so low in the bottom lane.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot more pressure, but again, this is nothing amazingly new that we're coming out from Enclave. They've gotten early leads, they've gotten the early pressure. It's what they do with it that's always been the problem, and let's see if they've learned from their past mistakes and if they actually can capitalize on those big mistakes from the side of Diabolus.
Yeah, the bottom lane is definitely doing so. 77 CS to 63. And that's even when you're looking at both teleports have been burnt on each side. The unsealed spellbooks coming in true and true for both AD carries. But you can just see how difficult it is for Jinx to hold on in this lane. We're saying that she should be okay. She should be fine to pick it up. But right now, it's just they're being outclassed by the bottom lane in the Enclave.
Being outclassed and outdone, and right now, Kerberos is just stacking up. He's nearly got his cull done. And this is what I wanted to say before that little kind of skirmish in that mid lane, is that I don't quite agree with Igloo taking the cull this late in the game, because Kale's one's going to be done and he's going to be behind the curve.
Yeah, exactly. He's just a little bit too late. And look at the difference. 50 CS, and that's going to be a big factor. You want this Kale to scale up, and you can see that Igloo is trying to answer for that, but he really needs to preemptively call it rather than just waiting until pause. Okay.
Yeah. So here we go. 9 minutes on the dot into the game. 2 kills to nothing. 14,500 gold to 13, or just nearly 14,000, as Monkeys finds himself into this bot side. He's going to jump straight onto Smiley. Gets jumped on, and the flash is useless. Nothing he can do in this particular situation. They're going to gift that one over to Frappy. That's just unfortunate, and that's going to be first tower going over as well.
Yeah, and look at this, giving all the extra gold to Frappy. 650G pops up, and he'll be so happy to have that, as actually here comes more.
Yeah, Monkey's trying to go in, gonna get the knock up and the knockback. They're gonna actually completely force all summoners and ultimates out of this bot lane. Haddo doesn't have to use his heal or his flash, but at the end of the day, that's not a big deal for them, as you see. Actually, Smiley TPing up to this top side. They want to try and make a move onto this Kale, but Kale has ult and Kale has wave clear. I don't actually agree with this call at all.
Yeah, Frappy has TP as well. He's just going to answer it. They're going to clear the wave. Frappy will be free to, or not Frappy, even Kerberos will be free to back, make his way towards the bottom side of the map, and Enclave answer for everything Diabolus are putting down. And now, we were just saying, they don't need to worry about the Drake too much on the bottom side of the map. Cloud Drake isn't a big factor, but now you've got a 2-kill Caitlyn with the BF sword, with the Zeal on that top side of the map for that Rift Herald, and that's where you're going to be looking at Enclave, trying to pick up more advantages.
Yeah, and looking already 10 minutes into the game, or 10 minutes 30 exactly to be exact, and it's going to be a huge lead of nearly 2,500 gold. And right now, that is the kind of lead you want, especially on someone like a Caitlyn, who's just going to be able to scale so much harder into this mid game and just be able to do so much more. And as I say that though, Larson taking a lot of damage, not quite going to go down just yet. Sleepy Bubble Trouble will put Paris to sleep, as the bot lane duos have now found themselves in the top side. But as I say that, Monkey's now in a little bit of trouble, maybe forced to use a little bit more than he wants to. Cell Division still available, but actually going to see the Tam Kench come in, going to flash, use the tongue lick. Furion in a lot of trouble. Ooh, able to vault over the wall, and that is totally fine for them. But more and more pressure, more and more good stuff from Enclave. They just need to keep doing it, and so far, so good.
Yeah, they are utilizing this Caitlyn. Oh, Larson going forward. Not gonna find.
Using a flash that wasn't his, so it's fine. And, oh, as I say that, though, we're going to see Igloo try to go aggressive in onto this mid lane, or just to the left of the mid lane. Monkeys is off to the side, still has cell division, still has less bounce, and let's see if he really wants to go for this. He does. They're going to lock in onto the Igloo, who has got Mega Gnar pretty damn soon. He's going to get it. Cell division has been popped. They're going to have the TP coming in from Kerberos, who's not quite done. They're going to chase them away. But in the end, it is just going to be a disengage. They really want to try get this mid tower, though, on the side of Enclave. But Hado using the ultimate, going to make sure that the side of Diabolus stay healthy and stay relevant into this mid lane.
Yeah, that's what they were worried about most, was losing that mid lane, and that's when they'd really start to struggle. It would make it so easy for the side of Enclave to start to rotate members up towards the top side, and if you're diving with Vladimir, Zac, a Kalot as well, it becomes incredibly hard to hold on to that turret. But it looks like instead Enclave have forced their way to the top side. It's just going to be the jungler there to try and keep the pressure up, but it looks like they don't want to push forward too much, don't really have the deep vision to know where the members of Diabolus are, so playing it safe this time around.
Yeah, they are going to stick around, though, into this top side. See who does actually pop up. Push another wave, as Paris is now the one to rotate into the spot side. Igloo going to find it a lot more difficult to deal with that kind of burst, especially considering now he has the proto belt. Now, 4-man stack. Monkey's going to jump in as well. Will he have enough range, though? I don't think he does. And right now, it's just going to be a push onto this turret. Smiley doing his best with those rockets to try and push everybody away. Isn't actually doing too badly with that kind of, with the items as such, but we are waiting for that Caitlyn to go down, or to go back, excuse me, and Frappy will have a lot of gold just kind of waiting to be spent.
Yeah, you can see they're now starting to rotate the lanes around. The Kale backs, the Vladimir rotates towards the mid, but this is the thing, Diabolus haven't really been able to spot out much of the movements of Enclave. It's kind of been blind luck at the moment, as I say that actually, Frappy.
Oh, Hado. I'm going to say that. Nice knock-up. Does stop Frappy missing the ultimate there from Furion. Great help pop by Shogun. He will drop, unfortunately, for Enclave, and they're going to get Frappy as well, as the 4-man stack works out for Diabolus, and they're going to be able to take their first turret of the game as well.
Yeah, that was just pure greed from Enclave. They wanted more. They wanted to get that turret. Actually...
Paris picking on a solo kill. Very nicely done, and that's going to be able to free up the map a little bit more, but they will stake the turret on top side for Diabolus.
Yeah, they will take the top. Won't quite be able to answer it with just the Vladimir at the moment. Doesn't really have the damage to take that down, but still shows that the Vladimir pick is paying off for them. It's 1 tower apiece at the moment, but actually, as I say that, the TP has come through from Caitlyn.
Yeah, they're going to try go for this and really put pressure, and they should be able to pick it up. So nice little play there coming out from Enclave, taking a bad situation. Paris comes up big, top trumps, and they're able to capitalize on it again and immediately go for that Rift Herald.
Yeah, Rotato Potato coming through. They picked up the mid tower. Now they're moving towards the Rift Herald, and it's going to be a rotation as well towards that top side of the map for the last standing tier 1 turret of Diabolus. And look at what I mean when we talk about vision control. There is nothing in that area for Diabolus. They are late to the party. There's 2 vision wards, control wards even in that pit as well, to make damn sure Diabolus don't know that this is going down. And it means that it's another objective into the hands of Enclave. They are starting to move around the map too fast for Diabolus to keep up with. There's no vision on Monkus, and he's looking for the engage.
Yeah, looking for it. Monkeys does get knocked up, though. He's going to be able to tank up a little bit, but not a huge amount. Devour comes in. Larson's in a hell of a lot of trouble. Force the flash and heal. Summoner's down. Nobody dies, but pressure still very much in favor of Enclave. They're looking like they're the ones in control.
Yeah, and they still have that Rift Herald as well, so anytime they can find that pressure, they can force someone out of lane, they can pop down that Rift Herald and force through these towers as well. Most likely won't be using it in the mid lane quite yet, as they don't really have the members there, the damage to push through for that tier 2, but that tier 1 is definitely looking quite vulnerable right now.
Yeah, with that Rift Herald in the back pocket, like you were saying, it's just going to be a little bit easier, a little bit more for them to kind of go for. And honestly, right now, you got to be thinking on the side of Diabolus, where do we come back from this? We can't realistically wait for the hyper late game, because if, you know, Smiley does get caught, it's all over then. There's no real kind of huge kind of late game turret pressure after Smiley goes down. And that's something they have to be very careful of. As I say that, though, Paris might be in a little bit of trouble. As I say that, though, he's going to go ham onto Furion. He may be able to take him down. Not quite, though. Larson going to be forced away. There's a 2v1. Ultimate comes out. And right there, Paris, no, not able to get the kill. 2v1 comes out pretty much unscathed, and they get the tower. They have a massive minion wave. This is looking like Enclave know what they're going to do. They know where they need to be, and they're coming out top.
And this is exactly how they played out the game last time against Diabolus. And there was nothing that they were able to do. It was a misstep from Enclave into the mid to late game that really cost them. But this time around, they are putting down the pedal. They are not letting Diabolus find that opening as Igloo is being killed. No!
Oh, maybe. Not quite, though. Kerberos feels confident, though, because he's got monkeys in the back pocket as well as that ultimate. Here we go. They're going to get the knock up. Here comes the ultimate from him and the Caitlyn. They catch on the Furion, who is ends up being the sacrificial lamb. More summoners being burnt left and right as the Devour comes in from Shogun to defend the Zac as monkeys. And this is just looking dominant right now.
And there goes the Rift Herald to boot as well. They're making their way down towards that turret. The tier 2 will not stand. Igloo is too low. Furion is non-existent. And the mana on Smiley is not going to be enough to clear this wave. He's even back in base, which means there's no hope for them to defend this.
Yeah, no hope. And that is the tier 2 going down. Rift was deployed, so they will be able to get a lot of damage down. And I'm very certain right now that the side of Enclave, they know they've been in these situations. They've got themselves a 5,000 gold lead. They need to capitalize. We've seen this song and dance far too many times to know that they are not exactly 100% once they actually come up to this point. It's the next 10 to 15 minutes that really decide it for them.
I actually really hope that this turns out to be a good Drake on the next one for them, and I think it was an Inferno that popped up there, so that's actually fantastic for Enclave because it gives another objective for them to force Diabolus to come into them. And when we are talking already about the vision control that they have in the enemy jungle, they've been clearing out wards right, left and center. It's Diabolus going in blind into the hands of Monkus, into the hands of Paris, who has been an absolute monster, and he's going to try and show it again though.
He's going to go in for a TP coming in as well. He will get the heal off as well as a double stun on top of him. There's the ultimate from the Kale. Kerberos keeping him alive. But again, he nearly comes out. Despite having so much HP gone, he nearly comes out on top.
Yeah, there was the TP, I think, realistically, that kept him alive. And I'm not 100% sure if I like that play. I was talking already about Enclave will start to lose tempo a little bit as they try to keep members alive instead of sacrificing them to pick up other stuff. You just burnt the TB by Kerberos from the top side to save your Vladimir, but actually Larson's going to get picked.
Larson goes down. Another kill to Frappy. Bot lane tier 1 was picked up, so they will have that in their favor, but at the same time, tier 2 in the mid lane is being pressured. And Kerberos, will he be able to stop him? Actually, he will. And that's Smiley in a huge world of hurt. Kerberos with the solo play. Mid lane going down. Enclave have all the advantages and all the time in the world.
Yeah, this is looking like Enclave's game. I was questioning the TP play to see if it was worth keeping the Vladimir alive. Kerberos tells me to shut up as he puts up and takes out Smiley, as well as keeping the Varus alive. Means they're able to push down towards this tier 2 tower in the top lane as well, taking a good chunk out of that. And now it's Enclave just running around the map and keeping Diabolus on their toes, but they are very swiftly falling behind.
So much pressure coming out from all sides of the map. There's just nowhere for them to really go. There's nowhere for them to really be. It's just hard to see where they come back from this.
Yeah, and now you've got Baron on board as well, and you were already saying how quickly they can start to roam around with the Tam Kench as well. They're just able to go towards these objectives and take them down incredibly fast, and when you try to move in blind, you're going to be met with Monkus leaping at you. You're going to have Paris with that massive hemo plague as well, and this is going to become incredibly difficult to try and deal with. If they even let you get to that stage, they might just go and try and split push to death. We've seen Paris needs 2 members to deal with. Kerberos most certainly needs more than just Igloo to deal with him as well. So this is where Enclave can now start to push in as a 1-3-1 style and slowly put the stranglehold onto Diabolus.
This is where the pressure comes in. Have they learned? I know I'm putting a lot of pressure on this, but we've seen too many times Enclave get a massive lead. They get the huge amount of pressure. They do not end. Probably the only difference between those games and this one, though, is that Larson has done very little this entire game. He hasn't been enabled, and he's been very much subjugated into this, you know, real bad position for him. He needs to try and find something good for him, otherwise it may go wrong. As I say that, though, we're going to see a little bit of engage. Frappy off onto the backside as well. Both ultimates were used. And so see now Larson going to get hit up with the Hemo Plague. And as I say that, oh, Igloo, will he be able to take anybody out with him? No, because Frappy is still alive, and well as Paris takes out the Jinx on the backside, flashing and healing. Larson has to run away, and that has got to be Baron.
Yeah, the 4v5 doesn't even win for Diabolus. Kerberos has been in the bot lane this whole time. He picks up the tower, picks up the inhib. Now they get Baron as well, and you can just see the nails in the coffin are slowly closing for Enclave. Larson trying to be the hero and make the play, but it's too little too late. And this is why we were talking in the early stages, Larson being a big component for his team. By having the Vladimir there, going with those minion dematerializers, he's able to shove in the wave so effectively that Larson is kept there the entire time. And then it's just a continuous poke down, stopping Larson from being able to get around the map and influence. And we've seen the answer here. 1-4 on the Jinx, 0-2 on Furion as well. The team crumbles without Larson's leadership. And this is how Enclave have found their hold.
Yeah, we're looking as well. Nar only recently, in the last like 3 minutes, finished off his cold. That's how late of an item that was. And the item spikes are just not good enough right now. You're 9,000 gold or 8,500 gold behind. That's not where you want to be right now. You want to be the ones, if you're picking up coal, kind of equal on gold, and the coal gives you a massive spike in, you know, in a huge amount of gold to kind of use with. But it's just not really working out.
I don't even know if the Cole's the problem here. He's more than 50 CS behind. Like, he's just so far out of this game that he just cannot keep up. Even without that Cole, the Kayle is still so far ahead. There's no way for him to deal with this. He's only got the Black Cleaver. He has a little bit of MR, but that means every time he joins these fights, he's just being destroyed by this Caitlyn. She has her triple item. She's got the IE, the double zeal. She's in a fantastic position, and now she can pick up that last whisper if she wants, because there's no armor going to be on the side of Diabolus for so long. She can go towards a QSS and make sure that even if Tam isn't there to save her, she's going to be so safe. But she has that in her back pocket. She has Kerberos there with the shields as well. So basically the world is their oyster right now, and they've decided that they want to take this mid lane turret. Yeah, they're going for the mid lane. Going to see Devour onto Paris as he's just kept safe. The Hemo Plague was used. They won't have that massive AoE. Now, the side of Diabolus have still got damage with Zoe and with this Jinx, so they need to be a little bit careful. They've broken the base. They're going to be able to take the inhibitor pretty damn soon, as everyone has to back away, while all the while Kerberos is just pushing and pushing and pushing and doing what Kales do best with a Nash's Tooth and a Guinzu's Rage Blade, just being able to put down so much damage as we rotate up. And honestly, as much damage as the Jinx will do in the late game, she's just not able to get there right now. Igloo has hit onto his Mega Gnar form, but not a lot he can do about it in this stage. It's just so much. It's just so much coming out from Enclave. Yeah, and the last turret is now going to fall as well. The trap line is up. The minions are barren, and there's very little that they can do. Although, as they say that, Paris is taking quite a chunk of damage from the side of Diabolus. They may have to back up a little bit. He is healing up steadily off the minions. Caitlyn is escorting the last line in. Baron buff will hold long enough for it to reach the tower, but are they going to try and find that engage? Here they go. This is going to be the last-ditch stand for the side of Diabolus. The first loss could be on its way, as Hado is the first one to fall. Now it's Larson who goes 0-3 in this game. Frappy wants the kill onto the Gnar, and that is going to be all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen. Enclave, despite everything, despite the scorelines in previous matchups, have finally found the winning formula. And Enclave put on a clinic as to how to beat Diabolus. Putting the pressure in the mid lane meant that they couldn't influence the map, and it was Paris 2v1ing the top laner Kerberos, coming out in style with the Kayle as well. Just brings in the win for them. Fantastic play for them. Fantastic play. And ladies and gentlemen, that was our third game of the day. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be coming back to you very, very shortly with the fourth one. Don't go anywhere.